Welcome to A Simple Life. Well, I've started. Actually, I should say we started, because Larry and his wife came by and they helped me start my beds. I've never run a rotary plow. I'll show you what it does, how it works in a moment. And Larry gave me a jump start. He gave me some pointers, showed me some tips and tricks, gave me some ideas, and actually he gave me something that's gonna be useful, and he just was just a blessing to give it to me. I'll show you that in a minute. So what we have here is we have the start of our 48-inch wide beds. Now, they are not leveled going this way. We've just pushed the dirt up and kind of started creating our pathways. And we're gonna do some more of those right now. I'll show you how I'm doing it. But before I show you how we're doing it, let's talk about my little tractor, because the little tractor is actually how we're doing this. So this is my little BCS tractor. It's a two-wheel tractor, and it truly is a tractor because the back end you can put in on different implements. The implement I have right there is a rotary plow. And the way a rotary plow works is as you're going, it starts moving the soil sideways and pushing it out this way. And so it's on an angle. And that angle is not because this is raised up, it's just the angle that it's on. And so the deeper that goes, the deeper it plows and the more soil it moves sideways. It's a little different than a tiller. A tiller will move soil from the bottom to the top and to the top to the bottom, where a rotary plow moves it from left to right. So the way that this tractor works is there's wheels on both sides, obviously, and there's a spacer. The spacers space the wheels out away from the drivetrain. Well, Larry gave me bigger spacers. And so we're gonna put those on here. The reason I'm gonna put them on right now is because as I did a couple more passes on the beds I already created, I realized to get the 16-inch width I needed to kind of span across the pathway. So we did some tests on the first three, trying to sit a wheel in, and it worked good. But what happened is Larry also gave me a bigger set of wheels. And those bigger set of wheels made it so that way when I tried to do a pass on this bed, it actually sat me too far in, and I was gonna end up with like a 24-inch wide path. And I don't want a 24-inch wide path, I want a 16-inch wide path. So we're gonna put the spacers on, and I'll show you why, and I'll show you how it's gonna help me. So let's get those on right now. Now, before I get to putting the spacers on, I wanna talk about this little bar right here. This little bar I fabricated, and what this does is it allows me to know that from the center of the machine to this is exactly 32 inches. That's 24, because I'm doing 48-inch wide beds. Okay, so that's 24 plus 8 is 32. So from the center of the machine to this little bolt is exactly 32 inches. And that's gonna help me do all my spacing fairly consistency with, you know, human error. But human error is okay, we're just gardening. Now I've explained why this is in the way, let's get this tire off. So we're set up, and if you look, you can see the machine is just slightly offset this way. Before, when the tires were tighter in, I would have been in the ditch, which is okay, that's a good method to use, but in my case, it wasn't working out very well, especially when I wanted 16-inch wide paths. So we're gonna try it like this, and we'll see how it works. All right, so I'm learning something. I'm learning that the first pass really just breaks the ground. And what I mean by that is you can see this is not the straightest pass. We got some wigglies and wonkies bits in here. But if I bring you over here to this one, this was the first one I did, and you can see it's pretty darn straight. And I'm gonna contribute that to once the ground is broken up, it makes it a lot easier the second pass to go a little deeper and to make it a little straighter. So that first pass is kind of just the breaking of the ground. Now, how consistent are my beds? My beds are gonna be close enough to 48 inches and my paths will be close enough to 16 inches that I'll be happy. Are they gonna be perfect? No. This is my first time doing this and I think I bit off quite a bit, but I bet you by the time I get to the top, I'll be a pro. The problem is the longest beds right here, I'm not gonna be a pro at. So we're gonna keep going. I did bring a tape measure just so we can see about how wide these beds are. And if you look, we're pretty close to 48 inches. Now this bed, let's check this one. And we're pretty close to this one being 48 inches as well. All right, well, as you can see, we have quite a number of rows done and they have turned out good. Now, the first ones actually turned out a lot better, and I'm gonna give the credit for that to, well, Larry, because Larry has a lot of experience doing this. This is his business. He was telling me this year he has the fewest number of people that they built their garden beds for, and he said it was about 40. In the past, he's been up in the 70s, so just interesting. All right, well, we are done. We got a lot done. This was actually a lot more of an undertaking than I thought it was physically. I thought it was gonna be a lot easier, and it turned out to be quite a bit of a battle. And I know why it was a battle, and I'm gonna change that for the rest of the beds. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm having to plow up ground that is not loose. And so I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it a lot. It's actually quite physical. And so what we're gonna do to make the rest of this all easier, because this is what I just realized, is I'm gonna come through with a tractor and we're gonna till the field up. We're gonna till it, not super deep, but we're gonna go probably 6 to 8 inches deep. We're gonna call that kind of the last till that we're really gonna do. And then these beds I'll have to till separately. And the reason I'm gonna do it in this order, and why didn't I till everything first? Well, because it's all an experiment. I'm learning right now that with this, if I want it to be easier to form my beds, I need to till the whole area first. By tilling the whole area first, whether that's with the 2-wheeled tractor or I get a 4-wheel tractor out and I till everything up, it's gonna break up the ground. It's gonna make it easier for me to move it to the side. It doesn't have to be broken up into powder. It just needs to be tilled once. All right, so I said last night we were gonna till this, and well, I didn't leave right away, even though it was getting dark out. We turned the headlights on the little tractor and I tilled it. And now let's test the difference between the untilled soil and the tilled soil, because once again, a lot of what I'm doing is an experiment on how to do this best. Well, when I'm building a new business, because that's really what I'm doing, is I'm building a business here and I'm trying to figure out in the future how to break ground properly, how to build my rows, so that way as we expand from this little patch here and some other little spots around here, and we have the greenhouses, to other areas on this farm or maybe even at our home farm. So I want to learn the easy way to do this stuff, because I know there are little tricks and techniques, and the only way to really figure those out is to get out there and try. So I came in and I tilled this all up last night. Didn't go super deep. One pass is all I did. And now we're going to get the 2-wheeled tractor going, and we're going to test to see kind of how this works now that the ground has been broken a little, because it was fairly compacted from when I'd leveled it. All right. I got a cat here. We got our little cat here. Hi. Hi, how are you? Yeah, following me around. You want your daily dose of scratches and love? All right. This is Klingoff. This was the one that always was very standoffish, and now is just an absolute lover. Well, until it gives me nibbles. All right, let's get the 2-wheel tractor fired up. that was way easier. Holy smokes, that felt like that was something I could probably get Clint to even do. There's a little bit of muscling around in a few spots, but that was so much easier. What I've been doing is I've been doing 2 passes, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up and 1 down, and then I can move on to the next row. I'm doing 2 passes to really kind of get that ditch kind of dug in, and you can see it's pretty defined here. We're about 6 inches deep. It's really nice and defined. And here we still have a little bit of that bowl happening, so I'll do another pass and go up here. That was so much easier. I'm so glad I thought about that, because as I was going through here, Clint was like, "Dad, that looks hard for you." And I was like, "Yeah, no, this is really physical to get this to really stay straight." And I think the difference is we're getting into the hard, packed soil here. This is the area where I really started leveling stuff off and bringing stuff over in here. Over here, the soil was much looser. It hadn't compacted because I had just pushed a lot of it over and filled this in and kind of leveled it off. When I say level, I should say graded, kind of graded it. And so this soil over here was much more compact because I had taken a lot off the top and put it over here. All right, we are in a good place. I'm actually much happier with this process. I'm gonna finish this. All right, well, the sun is starting to set, and trust me, it's gonna be a beautiful one tonight. How do I know it's gonna be a beautiful one? Well, because every night up here is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's look at the beds, because we got almost all of them done. I have about maybe 6 more to go, so I'll show you what we got. The boys have actually been helping me for the last, I don't know, couple hours, and they are almost done with what they're doing, and we'll finish the rest of them over the next week or so. But let me show you the beds. Well, that's a cat. Hello, kitty cat. How are you? All right, so here are the beds. As you can see, coming out really nice. I'm really happy with them. So the boys have come in and they've put wood chips down for me. As you can see, we have about 16 inches of wood chips here, maybe 18 inches. And the same thing here. They've been bringing the Kubota completely full, and they drive it down, and the tires fit on one bed and the other bed perfectly. And they come in and Clay drives, and Clint pulls all the wood chips out. All right, they're gonna go get another load. Clint fills it with the excavator, and then they bring it back down, and they'll drive down here and they'll fill the center with the wood chips. As you can see, it's working out really, really well. I'm really happy with how this is gonna work out. It's a nice path underfoot, and as you can see, we are ending up with about 6 inches of wood chips, about 6 inches. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. The boys have been a great help. Now, the one thing that isn't installed here is my pathway that's going to be at the 50-foot mark, which is about where I'm standing right here. And it's going to cut across this way. It's going to be about 5-6 feet wide. I haven't decided exactly. I think 5 feet wide is what I measured. It's going to go all the way down. That is going to allow me to be able to get like a quad or a manure spreader or something like that through here and reset a bed, get some machinery like the little 2-wheeled tractor in here if I need to reset a bed, or when it comes to harvesting, it'll be easier to pull fruits and vegetables out of here using a little quad, and that will be perfect. And we'll be able to go in and out of here easily with a 5-foot trail. The other thing that's going to allow me to do is have a break for irrigation, so I'll be able to irrigate these beds and those beds on separate lines. The reason that is actually kind of important is as you have a slope with a lot of the drip irrigation, that slope actually doesn't help you, because what happens is you get more water pressure at the bottom than at the top. So by having your beds kind of broken, in my case, broken up in the middle, that in some cases 10 feet of difference between the top and the bottom, that's going to be mitigated quite a bit, because it's going to be split in half, and we'll end up with 5 feet or 4 feet or whatever it is, depending on the roll of the hill. 4 feet by 50 feet, which is what these beds will generally be, is 200 square feet, which means if I plant half a bed, I have 100 square feet. If I know how many of something I can fit in 100 square feet and how many people that feeds, I have a good idea of how many I need to grow for a CSA or for a restaurant or something like that. And for me, the 48 inches also is nice because of this. Let me show you. So if I'm kneeling right here, I can reach in easily 24 inches on this side, which means I can plant a whole side, and then go to the other side and I can plant the whole other side. That feels really nice, because then I can also shift over to the bed over here, and I can work on that bed if I want to. Where if it was 30 inches, that would be about 30 inches right there. And now I'm kind of at the end of my reach, and I have an extra pathway there. And so now I can reach, I'm right here, it's easy. I can sit right on the center. I can shift my weight right onto the center of one leg, and I can work a zone, or if I need to, I can kneel. And that 16 inches from here to here is perfect for being able to kneel and work on a bed. That is why I decided to do 16 inches and 48 inches, is because I can get over it, I can work it. If I really have to, I can put my hand and I can reach all the way over. That's gonna make hopefully a really nice setup when it comes to gardening. And if I made a mess of this and this is not the right size, I'll be a little sad. But I did a lot of research. I sat down, I played around in the garden, tried to feel what it was gonna feel like to work on a 48-inch bed. I definitely liked a 16-inch walkway, because in my garden in the greenhouse, they're 12-inch and it's just too small. I have a tendency to step on whatever's behind me sometimes. That's never a good thing. So this is where we're at. We have probably another, like I said, 6 beds to go. You guys so much for joining us. And we do have a beautiful sunset. Let me show you. Look at that. I mean, and it's just peeking right over the horizon right now, right through those trees. I'm spoiled. I have a beautiful sunset right where I garden. Yeah. All right. Have a good one. Bye.